This is video 4 in our series about the inner critic, that voice inside of you that can sometimes seem hostile, like it's just trying to do everything in its power to keep you from achieving what you want to achieve or doing what you want to do. And we're going to talk about why you can't outrun that voice. If you tried to silence your inner critic, you tried to ignore it, or maybe just push past it, you probably notice something. You notice that it doesn't go away. And that's because the inner critic, that voice, it can't be outrun. It has to be integrated. Welcome back to Creator Metaphysics. Today we're going deeper into something that most people miss. And that is that your inner critic is not your enemy. It's a part of you. And you can't heal a part of yourself by rejecting it. I think that's worth saying one more time. You can't heal a part of yourself by rejecting it. The only way forward is through something we call integration, or absorbing it into yourself. The inner critic is a part of you. It's not a villain. It's not an attacker trying to bring you down. It's not something that's separate from you. It's an actual part of you. It's a part of you that was formed in moments of pressure, moments where you felt like you were being judged, or you felt embarrassed, you felt unsafe, or you weren't certain about some things. So it learned how to protect you. It learned how to protect you by being careful and by holding back, by trying to control outcomes, things you can't really control. You can control the things that go into the inputs, but you can't really control those outcomes. There was a time when I tried to fight that voice. I tried to just overpower it. I'd push against it. I'd ignore it. I'd tell myself to just get over it. Have you ever done that before? Just tell yourself, just get over it. I think part of that was my military training. Some of which was self-destructive. I'll get into that some other time, but we literally taught ourselves to beat ourselves up. And I used to tell myself to just get over it, but that voice didn't get quieter. It got louder, became more aggressive and more constant. And I realized that I wasn't solving the problem, I was making it worse. Look at your own experience. Have you ever tried to silence that voice, that inner critic inside of you? And if you have tried to do that, has that actually worked? Or has it just made things more tense inside? This may sound counterintuitive, maybe even a little bit funny. I think it's funny, but you can't outrun something that's inside of you. You can't outrun yourself. You can't escape something that lives inside of you. When you try to ignore it or suppress it or push it away, it reacts. It gets louder. It fights. It fights for survival. It fights for its life. Because to that part of you, being ignored feels like danger. For me, there was a shift when I stopped fighting it. Instead of reacting, I paused and I asked, what is this part of me trying to do? And that question changed everything, because underneath the noise, there was fear, there was concern, all legitimate, all with good intent. There was a part of me that was trying to help. It was just going about it in the wrong way. Ask yourself, what if that voice isn't trying to hurt you? What if it's trying to protect you, but it's just using old methods? That inner critic, that voice is not the enemy. It doesn't need to be destroyed. The inner critic shows up when you feel exposed and uncertain, at risk, seen. It uses old strategies to deal with new situations. But here's the shift. It doesn't need to be destroyed. It needs to be understood. I remember the first time that I responded differently. That voice came up, same pattern, same warning. But instead of pushing it away, I acknowledged it. I said, I hear you. And that's when something changed. The intensity dropped. Not completely, it just came down a few levels, but enough for me to move forward. And that's when I realized that it didn't need control, it needed reassurance. Be honest. How do you respond when that voice shows up, when that inner critic shows up in your ear? Do you fight it or do you shut down? What would happen if you actually listened first? And if this is where you're at right now, stuck between pushing forward and holding yourself back, this is exactly why I created the Creator's First Shift. It walks you through the real reason that voice exists, the patterns behind it, and how to start working with it instead of against it. It helps you understand what's happening inside of you so you can stop fighting yourself and start moving forward. The link is in the description. Costs about the same as a cup of coffee. But the shift it creates in how you relate to yourself, that's where the real change begins. You see, integration is the shift. Integration means something simple. You stop fighting the voice and you start leading it. You listen, you understand, you respond. Instead of this needs to stop, you shift to I understand what this is. And that changes the relationship. But how do we start integrating it? How do we start integrating that inner critic into our being? Here's what that looks like. First, pause when the voice shows up. Don't react right away. And then ask, what is this part of me actually afraid of? What is it trying to protect me from? There's always something underneath it. And then third, respond with clarity. Say, I hear you, but I can handle this. And then move forward anyway. Ask yourself, can I take one step forward without needing this feeling to go away first? And that's integration. Remember, you can't outrun the inner critic because it's part of you, not the version of you that you are right now, but the version of you that learned how to survive. And when you stop fighting it, start understanding it, you start working against yourself, and you start creating from a place of alignment. And that's where things begin to feel different. That's where things begin to flow. That's the shift.